On the one hand, a bright blessing, a future of hope. On the other hand, a dark future of despair.
Is it possible for a small group of people to influence the course of a new world order? Is this an official statement made by the false Messiah? Throughout the ages, tales of the Dajjal have struck fear into the hearts of many people, a figure so sinister and deceptive that his arrival is seen as a sign of the end. Known as the false Messiah, Dajjal represents a force that can mislead even the wisest, plunging the world into chaos. But who is this dark figure, and what role does he play in the ultimate battle between good and the evil? The concept of Dajjal, often understood as a deceptive evil figure, appears in various religious traditions, and they all have consensus that the Dajjal is a false Messiah and a major figure in the end of times. Some modern interpretations suggest that the Dajjal could represent not just a single individual, but a system or ideology that promotes falsehood, materialism, and moral corruption. This view sees the Dajjal as symbolic of a larger global or societal system that misleads people rather than a specific person. Some scholars argue that the Dajjal may represent a world dominated by materialism, where people are obsessed with wealth, technology, and physical pleasures, leading them away from the righteous path. Dajjal could also be seen as representing a system that promotes moral decay, where values like justice, compassion, and humility are replaced by selfishness, greed, and oppression. The idea of one-eyed in description of the Dajjal could be related to viewing things with a one-sided perspective. Sometimes it symbolizes that all resources, prosperity, and wealth are reserved for a specific group, while those who oppose them are left with misery, poverty, and death. After the remarks made by Netanyahu about the cursed and the blessings, imagine for a while, if he represents the Dajjal system, it implies that his policies and influence embody deception and manipulation. To control nations, the system might rely on material wealth, military power, and domination, offering promises of blessings such as wealth, prosperity, and safety, and issuing threats of curses like sanctions, war, economic isolation, and devastation. Countries like Pakistan, Sudan, Libya, Iraq, and others faced challenges for survival. The military, which is supposed to protect the people, is being manipulated by dark forces. They don't care about what's good for the people. They only care about control and pushing their agenda. By controlling the military, they make sure that their plans are carried out, and anyone who dares to stand in their way is silenced. The Dajjal forces works in shadows. They manipulate governments, economies, and even armies to spread confusion, fear, and disorder. These forces ensure that no real change or justice can take place. The hidden forces of the Dajjal system control the wealth and resources of the countries. Whether it is oil, minerals, or other riches, they use these assets to strengthen their control. This is part of a larger plan to keep the world's wealth in hands of a few people. Now let's examine the economies of Iran, Iraq, Yemen, Syria, and Lebanon, the countries Netanyahu has referred to as being on the cursed side. These nations often face significant economic challenges, primarily due to sanctions imposed by Western countries that restrict their ability to engage in international trade. On the other hand, countries like Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Egypt, Morocco, Sudan, UAE, and India, which Netanyahu considers on the blessed side, seems to have stable and growing economies. Looking at the contrast, we can conclude that the so-called cursed countries are trapped in hardship, while nations aligned with Western ideology enjoy greater prosperity and a higher quality of life. Observing what has been happening recently in the world, it is evident that an evil system is in play, and it wants to impose a new world order, an order which is biased and is with a single-eyed perspective. No matter how long the system of oppression lasts, it will eventually come to an end. Soon the dark clouds of despair will fade away, and a halo of light symbolizing hope will rise to rule the world. All the oppressors will meet their fate. To counter this evil system, God has made a promise to send a savior who will put an end to this tyranny. However, for this to happen, humanity must first recognize these negative forces. Only then can people align with the spiritual forces and choose the right path for their ultimate destination.